And greetings all of you, dear lovely family, friends, fellow Africans. There's something that we are not paying much attention, the issue of foreign military base here in the continent. So today I brought you this video to discuss the issue of foreign military base here in the continent. So a general who accused Captain Ibrahim Traore, General Langley, has expressed why US has military base here in the continent of Africa. Listen to this general. Michael Langley talking about the presence of US soldiers, US military bases in the continent of Africa. You remember that General Langley accused Captain Ibrahim Traore for using gold reserve revenues for protecting himself. The thing that is not true. General Langley served as the commander of United States Africa Command, or we call AFRICOM, since August 2022. Kings and queens, ladies and gentlemen, as you heard in the explanation of General Langley, I quoted almost three things that is very important. Number one is preparing for war. Number two, protecting U.S. interests. Number three, increasing influence. So let us discuss these things at this time where U.S. Solo Commander Langley accusing Captain Ibrahim Traore. And we Africans right now, we are mobilizing. We are calling each other to come together, to unite, to speak with one voice, to say we stand with Captain Ibrahim Traore. The question is, how can we stand with Captain Traore while US has several military bases here in the continent of Africa? US has military base in DRC, in Ghana, and many parts of, even in Cote d'Ivoire. All these two neighboring countries, Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, US has military bases. In the Central African Republic, US has military base. In Botswana. So what can we do as Africans? I think we need also to talk about this matter, the issue of military bases, foreign military bases here in the continent of Africa. As I said, I quoted almost three things. Number one was preparing for war, that US foreign bases are here in the continent of Africa preparing for wars, for protecting US interests, and also increasing influence. Let's start with preparing for war. So why they are preparing for war in the continent of Africa? And which war they are talking about? We need to ask, the future war, or the war between US and enemies of US, or preparing war within other members, or preparing war, which war they're talking about? That is a critical question that we need to ask. We know if it's about enemies, US preparing for war with enemies, who will be affected first? It will be Africans. Because if today we say maybe US is going to fight with Russia, just imagine US is going, of course you heard in the explanation of General Langley talking about Russia. So what if today Russia and US are going to the battle? I think we know that Russia has this mass destructive, and also US has. So US has many military bases here in the continent of Africa. So automatically Russia will target these military bases. And these bases are in Africa. If Russia will use nuke, this mass destructive weapon, it's African continent that will be affected. Yes, US will attack Russia in the territory of Russia. So Russia or Asia continent or Europe continent will be affected. But what if those weapons will be directed to Africa, to these bases? It means Africa will be the first to be affected. And US is not fighting with their enemies or its enemies face to face, is finding neutral ground. So they have seen that Africa is a neutral ground for these powerful countries to come and fight. So they don't care the lives of Africans. So at any time when the war or conflict will erupt between these powerful countries, it will be Africa that will be the first to be affected. So we need to discuss also this matter, to share our thoughts as Africans. What can we do to make sure that these powerful countries are going to remove their military bases here in the continent of Africa? Because it undermines our sovereignty. Right now, as I said, we are trying to protect Captain Ibrahim Traore. We don't know in their military bases what are they planning. What are they planning to Captain Traore? So we need to remove these foreign bases. Traore himself and his counterpart in Mali and Niger, they have succeeded to close all foreign military bases. What about other African countries, Cote d'Ivoire, and many others? So I think that's something we need to do as Africans. While we are going to raise our voices, we need also to raise the voices of sovereignty. To be totally independent, we need also to be free out of these things. Another issue was the issue of U.S. interest, that these things are here in the continent to protect the U.S. interest. What interest they're talking about? If you talk about interest, the West interest in Africa is critical minerals. It's not about food. It's not about water. It's not about some security and peace. What they are talking about is the issue of minerals. These powerful countries have these mines, their own mines. So when they say they protect interest, they put their soldiers to defend or to protect those mines and resources that they have accumulated. And one thing that has shocked me is when I heard from Ghanaian talking about the issue of that Ghana has entered the contract of U.S. has established base in Ghana, but the president of Ghana is not allowed to enter. So just imagine, you're a president and you are not allowed to go somewhere in your country. That's foreign base. So even if these people can accumulate gold, can steal gold from us, we are not allowed to go there and look and cross-check that you have our gold. So if president is not allowed, what about normal citizens? What about police? What about soldiers? So if they take resources, maybe they steal minerals and park in their camps, we have no mandate to go and asking them and checking them. You see, and that is the effect. And that's why I'm saying there's a need for Africans to raise the voice on this matter, the matter of this foreign military base. So such kind of contract is not good for us as Africans. So if someone can accumulate, can steal from us and then hide in these bases, it means we cannot access those things. So we need as Africans to wake up. So just imagine we have leaders who can sign such kind of contract. And that's why I have been saying that we need to remove these borders. These borders are always for poor Africans. Because if a president cannot enter in a military base, foreign military base in his country, what about a normal citizen? What about people? This is a very shameful thing. Another issue I had is the issue of increasing influence. So increasing influence, how? So you use power to be accepted. You use power to access minerals. If you talk about influence, it means you are talking about that if I want to compete with China, maybe there's a bid of minerals or mining. You need to be the first. You want to increase influence for you to be the first. how are you going to increase the influence? Maybe you are going to say, I'm very powerful, I can secure these minerals. Or you are going to threatening those countries that if you don't accept, I'm going to remove you from power, or I'm going to invade you. So which influence and how this influence are going to be increased? As Africans, I think we have a lot of questions we need to ask ourselves. We need to make sure that we ask ourselves difficult questions. This generation, as I said many times, we are the generation that seek economic independence. We need to make sure that we attain economic independence. Our founding fathers fought for what we call political independence, but this time, this generation, we have one duty, one task to liberate this continent economically. When we say economically, we want Africans to start producing goods, process natural resources or resources, adding value or addition to our minerals. We want to see that our iron ore are being processed and help us to build or to construct railway. How is it possible that we have iron ore and yet we are importing these railway irons? So we need, I think, to change. We need to change because if we don't change, we'll continue to be beggars, we'll continue to suffer, and no one will care about us. So in order for people to care about us, we need to take our own decisive decision of taking control of our minerals or resources. And to do so, it means we are going to liberate ourselves economically. Right now, the continent that has almost 60% of young people, but many of these young people are unemployed. This is another bomb. This is another bomb. This is a silent bomb. These young men and women who are unemployed, one day they will erupt. We have seen something like that in Kenya. So, and if we see things are going smoothly, one day these people will change. And that's how things are happening in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. When Captain Ibrahim Traore took power, it is not accidentally. It is because of failed leadership in the continent or in Burkina Faso at that time. And that's why you see right now Captain Traore has a vision. He knows very well that if I don't serve the people well, these people will change. These people will turn against you. And that's why you see Captain Ibrahim Traore is trying to work hard to fulfill the dreams of Africans. So as we talk about protecting Captain Ibrahim Traore, we need also to focus on the issue of foreign military bases. These bases is not ours. These bases are not here to protect us. These bases are for the interest of those who have established them. So we need to say, let us give us opportunity to protect ourselves. We can. You know, people think that Africans, we cannot protect ourselves. Right now, we have challenge in DRC, but we have a lot of soldiers in DRC. What have they did? It's because it is contradiction. But if we have a single army for Africa, it will be easy for Africans to negotiate, to speak with one voice and say, we are Africans. Let us stop fighting. And you see these things right now. Recently, Congo and the US are in the process of handing over minerals that US, Congo is asking US to help to fight M23, and Congo will offer critical minerals. You see? So at the end of the day, soldiers, black people like me and you, and white people from US will come to Democratic Republic of Congo, start fighting fellow Africans. They will call them bad names. These are terrorists, whatever they will call labels. They will try to call bad name. Then those people will be removed on the face of the earth by the bad name that they are terrorists. They are, but remember, those people are trying to defend themselves. So if you give up your minerals to other people, and yet you expect that in the near future you're going to get peace, you are messing up yourself. So I think as Africans, we need to find a right decision. When we do things, we need to decide better. Apart from that, kings and queens, ladies and gentlemen, we know that we are at the crossroad. We are preparing to march for protecting Captain Traore. So make sure that on April 3rd, you'll be a part of Africans who will raise the voice of solidarity to Captain Ibrahim Traore. We want to raise our voices to show the world that we are with Captain Ibrahim Traore. So kings and queens, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to share this video, to like, and also to comment on this video. This is very, very important for us as Africans to share our thoughts and to speak with one voice. Up to that, let me say stay in power. See you next time. Thank you.
Thank you, Africa, Mama Africa. Oh, yeah. You make Africa great. Thank you, freedom. Thank you, Africa.